Why did Bruce Willis, the world's most invincible action hero, suddenly vanish from Hollywood? And what is he sacrificing today? For over 4 decades, the name Bruce Willis was synonymous with a specific kind of American grit. He was the face of the everyman hero, the guy who didn't have superhuman strength or high-tech gadgets, but rather a man who bled, joked through the pain, and always found a way to win against impossible odds. He was our collective shield against the villains of the silver screen, a figure who felt permanent in our lives, as steady as a mountain and as reliable as the sunrise. We grew up with him, we aged with him, and we looked to him as the blueprint for resilience. But in early 2022, the credits began to roll on his legendary career in a way that no one in the industry or the fandom ever expected. There was no grand farewell tour, no final high-octane blockbuster to serve as a victory lap, and no televised retirement special filled with celebrity tributes. Instead, there is only a heartbreaking, dignified statement posted to social media by his family, signaling the end of an era. Today, as we navigate the final days of December 2025, the man who once saved the world on the big screen time and time again is fighting a private battle that no amount of star power, wealth, or global fame can win. From the sun-drenched peaks of his die-hard fame to the somber, protected silence of his current life, the story of Bruce Willis has shifted from a narrative of cinematic triumph to one of profound human sacrifice and quiet endurance. It is no longer just a story about a star retiring. It is a chronicle of a family's tireless, soulful fight to keep the man they love present, even as his internal world grows increasingly smaller, more distant, and more mysterious. This is the story of a man who gave us everything on screen, only to have his own voice slowly taken away by a fate he could never have scripted. To truly understand the crushing weight of his absence from the public eye, you have to remember just how loud, vibrant, and essential his presence used to be in the cultural landscape. Bruce didn't enter the cultural consciousness as a muscle-bound titan in the vein of Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone. He was something different, something more relatable, more human, and infinitely more charming. He first captured our hearts as David Addison on Moonlighting, the charming, fast-talking private eye with a smirk that felt like a shared secret with the audience. He had a kinetic energy that felt unstoppable, a rhythmic way of speaking that defined the 1980s. Then came 1988, and the world changed forever with the release of Die Hard. In an era of invincible, bulletproof commandos, Willis redefined what it meant to be an action star. He was the hero who forgot his shoes, the hero who crawled through glass, the hero who cried when he thought he wouldn't make it home to his wife, and the hero who used his wit and sarcasm as effectively as his weapon. He brought a blue-collar vulnerability to the genre that had never been seen before. By the 1990s, he was arguably the biggest star on the planet, a true A-list titan who could transition seamlessly from the gritty, stylized noir of Pulp Fiction to the imaginative, colorful sci-fi of The Fifth Element. He could lead a massive ensemble in Armageddon and then leave us utterly speechless and emotionally wrecked with the quiet, hauntingly internalized performance he gave in The Sixth Sense. He was incredibly prolific, often filming multiple movies a year, becoming a reliable staple of our collective childhoods and our Friday night cinema trips. He was the cool uncle of Hollywood, the guy you wanted to grab a drink with, the man who seemed like he would be around forever. But behind that world-famous smirk and the tireless work ethic that saw him headline over 100 films, a subtle, terrifying shift was beginning to take place beneath the surface, one that only those in his innermost circle would begin to notice at first. It started as small lapses, a forgotten name here, a stumbled line there, but it was the beginning of a long, slow goodbye that the world was not yet prepared to hear. In the years leading up to the official 2022 announcement, eagle-eyed fans and industry insiders began to notice that something was fundamentally off with the legend. Bruce started appearing in dozens of low-budget, direct-to-video films, often for only a few minutes at a time, frequently looking dazed or disconnected. The performances were panned by critics who were unaware of the brewing storm. They called his acting wooden, bored, or disengaged, and some even mocked him for seemingly lazy performances. What the public didn't know was that Bruce was engaged in a desperate, silent race against time. He was struggling to remember even the simplest lines of dialogue, his cognitive functions betraying him in real time. On set, he was forced to use earpieces so that an assistant could feed him his lines syllable by syllable. Directors reported that he often didn't know why he was there or what the scene was about, yet he kept showing up. He wasn't cashing out or being lazy. He was working feverishly while he still had the cognitive ability to do so, seemingly trying to build a massive financial fortress for his family's future before the darkness moved in completely. He knew the clock was ticking, even if we didn't. In March 2022, the world received the first devastating piece of the puzzle when his family revealed he was suffering from aphasia, a condition that robs a person of their ability to communicate. But as the months rolled by into 2023 and 2024, the news became even harder to process. The definitive diagnosis was frontotemporal dementia, or FTD. This wasn't just a communication issue, it was a degenerative brain disease. Unlike the more commonly known Alzheimer's, which often starts with memory loss, FTD primarily strikes the brain's frontal and temporal lobes, the very centers for personality, social behavior, judgment, and language. For a man who made his entire living through sharp-witted dialogue, vocal inflection, and charismatic physical delivery, it was a cruel and poetic irony of the highest order. The man who spoke for us was losing his ability to speak for himself. As we move through the final days of December 2025, the reality of his condition has become even more poignant and challenging for those who love him. His wife, Emma Hemming Willis, has been incredibly transparent about the grief and beauty of their new life, becoming an accidental hero for caregivers everywhere. She recently shared that the family had to make the agonizing and impossible decision to move Bruce into a separate, specialized care environment on their property. This decision wasn't born out of lack of love or a desire for distance, but out of a profound necessity to provide him with the 24-hour professional medical care he now requires and to protect their young daughters, Mabel and Evelyn, from the heavy, daily emotional toll of seeing the disease's inevitable progression up close. In her 2025 holiday essay, Emma admitted that grief doesn't only belong to death, it belongs to change. She described the ache of the space between the man Bruce was, the one who made the best Sunday pancakes and led the holiday charge, and the quiet, observant presence he is now. The house is quieter, the laughter is different, and the rhythm of their lives has been completely rewritten by a medical diagnosis. Yet, within that silence, there's a profound sense of duty. The family hasn't hidden him away in shame. They have embraced the new Bruce with a level of ferocity and tenderness that has redefined what a Hollywood family looks like. They're showing the world that even when the person you love changes fundamentally, the love itself doesn't have to diminish. It just has to evolve into something deeper and more sacrificial. So, what does life look like for Bruce Willis today as he reaches age 70? By all accounts, the man who was once the most talkative, witty person in any room is now largely nonverbal. The quick-fire banter of David Addison and the snarky one-liners of John McClane have been replaced by a deep, contemplative silence. His daughter, Rumor, has touched the hearts of millions by sharing that while he may not always recognize her instantly or remember the specific details of their past adventures, the twinkle in his eyes and his infectious, hearty laugh still appear in brief, beautiful flashes of clarity. These moments are treated like gold, precious and fleeting. He is currently surrounded by what his family calls a strong family unit, a masterclass in modern co-parenting and devotion that has seen the entire Willis Moore clan come together like never before. Emma, his ex-wife Demi Moore, and all 5 of his daughters, Rumor, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn, have remained united, forming a protective, impenetrable ring around him that keeps the prying eyes of the paparazzi at bay. They have turned their private struggle into a mission of advocacy, ensuring that Bruce's final role is his most impactful one yet. Emma's 2025 memoir, The Unexpected Journey, has become a vital lifeline for millions of caregivers worldwide, successfully turning their private family tragedy into a powerful platform for public advocacy and dementia research. Even in late December 2025, rare, authorized photos emerged of Bruce enjoying a quiet walk by the ocean in Los Angeles. Looking relaxed and fresh-faced, finding peace in the sensory experience of the wind and the waves, even if he can no longer describe the feeling in words.